Coming back to these reflexes a little bit. Now, we covered the reflexes initially at the end of the central nervous system, because obviously the central nervous system dictates what the reflex will be. But now that we're looking at the spinal nerves and the cranial nerves, we also need to kind of refresh and revisit these because we're using those nerve pathways of the peripheral nervous system. So we've looked at this particular one before, the patellar reflex. The patellar reflex, again, the doctor or whoever hits the patellar ligament with that hammer, causes a little stretch of this actual muscle itself. That stretch is where you see the muscle spindle right here being activated or stimulated. That muscle spindle then is going to send the information up the afferent motor neuron into this dorsal root ganglion. In the dorsal root ganglion, you're then going to bring it into the dorsal horn from the dorsal root. At this point, you'll say it to the brain and let it know what's going on, but your spinal cord will make the decision. It sends out two signals here. We're going to have one stimulatory and one inhibitory signal. The muscle that is going to be stimulated is the one that was stretched. It's contracting, which is why the knee extends up, because your quadriceps are being stimulated. At the same time, though, to allow that movement, you must allow the other opposite muscles to be relaxed. In this case, you're allowing the flexors of the knee to be relaxed, which is the hamstrings, and allowing the knee to extend. But that's one single side. Nothing happened on the right side, nothing happened in the upper body. This is just from the leg to the leg. Now, I mentioned this could get a little more complex. So here's an example. This is the crossed-extensor reflex. Now, this one, what's happening is this individual is stepping on a piece of glass. So the initial stimuli is going to be in the foot, and that's the pain of the glass cutting the foot. That stimulus will travel up the leg into the spinal cord. It's heading up into the dorsal root ganglion again, the dorsal root, into the dorsal horn. Now, at this point, though, notice how we have connections on both sides of the spinal cord. That's because when you step on something like a piece of glass, that hurts. Do you want to just simply keep stepping on it? Just push your foot right into it? Of course not. You need to pick your foot up. So that's where the first set of signals is going to occur. It's sent down the same exact leg and causes that leg to be withdrawn from the point of injury. So if you stepped on something that was sharp, you got to pick your leg off of that item that was sharp. But you can't do that unless your other leg is compensating. So this second set of signals over here is heading on down, also at the ventral roots and all the way down, and it causes the stationary leg to be reset. So if you're walking, for example, what's happening now is you pull your whole body back and try to put your weight back in the foot you were just leaving. So even though this cross-extensor reflex is only showing the two legs, it involves the torso and your arms as well. Because when you step on that sharp item, you pull back to go on your back leg, but you must balance your torso. A lot of times your arms flail out, trying to maintain balance. So even though it's one single input, the injury to the foot, that's then going to be sent up the spinal cord, relayed back down to both legs, but also relayed up the spinal cord into the torso and the arms to do everything it can to compensate and balance out so you don't fall down after you pull your foot off. And while that's happening, your brain's getting processing, hey, what's going on? Your brain will look down and try to see what happened. These reflexes can get very complex very quickly and involve a whole series of reactions throughout your body. So that patellar reflex we just saw was pretty basic compared to this cross-extensor reflex. So reflexes, same response in the same person, will happen every single time. But they're automatic. You don't think about them, they just happen. Your reflexes. So that's what looking at the cross-extensor reflex, looking at the patellar reflex, from the simple to the more complex.